It's that time of the week again when Xbox decide to put on some lovely discounts and look to make our backlog even larger. This week though, we do have some cracking deals and games to look out for. However, I will say this right now, this does seem to be a quieter week than usual, so I do have a feeling that the Xbox summer sale will be occurring just around the corner. Anywho, we still have some incredible deals that you must pick up regardless, as these games are super affordable. As always though, I do host a free Xbox game giveaway here on the channel every single Wednesday with these sales videos. All you have to do is comment below and just discuss anything Xbox for a chance to win. Congratulations to last week's winner, just hit me up on our awesome Discord server and I will get that game right over to you. Now with that out of the way, let's look at these awesome deals we have for this week. So first up today, we have the excellent Going Under, and this is an outrageously clever roguelike that turns failed tech startups into chaotic dungeons and then throws you into battle armed with office furniture and half-broken gadgets. Its sharp sense of humour, along with the wild enemy designs and satirical jabs at modern capitalism, make it stand out from the usual dungeon crawler crowd. There's real mechanical depth here as well, with power-ups and perks that stack into hilariously overpowered builds. Well, that's if you play your cards right anyway. The writing is of course very witty, the colours are loud, and the tone swings between absurd and darkly relatable, and that's why it stands out so much on the Xbox store. It's a refreshingly weird take on roguelikes that feels both timely and timeless in its themes and gameplay, and is one that you need to experience this week. Completely remade from the ground up, Mafia Definitive Edition offers a beautifully realised return to the golden age of gangster storytelling, blending stunning visuals with a tightly focused, character-driven campaign. I will note that right out the gate, this game is leaving Xbox Game Pass on the 15th of July, so it is imperative that you take advantage of the sale if you want to own the game forever, and because this price point is utterly outstanding. Unlike most modern open world games, this one doesn't waste your time either. Every mission serves the story, which follows the rise and fall of Tommy Angelo with cinematic pacing and emotional weight. For me, this game hits that sweet spot between narrative depth and classic action, and I love it because it's one of the few games out there where it really nails that old school mobster vibe with heart and polish. If you're looking for something that is dark, dreamlike, and strangely beautiful, then Olija is a pixel art action game that you need to pick up, and it feels like something pulled straight from an old myth. To give you some context, you basically play as a stranded sailor navigating a mysterious land, armed with a magical harpoon that lets you zip through the air and impale enemies with incredible style. Every moment of the gameplay is laced with mystery. The storytelling is minimal but incredibly effective, using atmosphere and music more than its dialogue. There's almost a poetic rhythm to just how it moves and sounds, and its short runtime leaves a lasting impact. With such a low price point, it's a must try for anyone who appreciates eerie world building and elegant, understated action, and it was a shame that it left Xbox Game Pass a couple of years ago now. If you're like me and you miss the charm of old school platformers like Tai and Banjo-Kazooie, then you need to check out KO the Kangaroo, as it brings it back with confidence and a ton of colour. It's a full revival of a forgotten mascot, blending cartoon-style visuals with modern level design, smooth combat, and genuinely fun exploration. This anniversary edition, which I'm highlighting in particular today, includes all previous DLC and some cool cosmetic extras, making it the most complete version on the Xbox store. There's nothing overly complex here as well, it's just a bright, breezy platformer that delivers fun for all ages, and is perfect if you're in the mood for something more playful and nostalgic. I love KO just because it brought me back to the joys of 90s platformers without feeling stuck in the past, and it's just fun, plain and simple, and just what we want sometimes, especially in 2025. One interesting game that I got to try last year was Deathbound, and it really tried to take on a bold step into the Souls-like genre by letting you fuse the skills of multiple characters on the fly, giving the combat an identity all on its own. This one is set in a twisted medieval world full of dying gods and ruthless abominations, and it really does demand your precision, patience, and a willingness to experiment with its unique fusion party mechanic. Whether you're dodging brutal combos or wanting to chain together transformations mid-fight, every encounter here does feel quite tense and also incredibly earned. It's certainly a little bit rough around the edges in places, but what it's doing mechanically is genuinely exciting, and I did enjoy my brief time with it. I always do recommend Deathbound because it really dares to evolve that Souls-like formula, and that risk makes every battle feel more personal and unpredictable, and I just wish this one had a bit more support. Phantom Abyss is a thrilling asynchronous multiplayer platformer where you race through procedurally generated temples, dodging spikes, traps, and collapsing floors, all while being chased by deadly guardians. You may be wondering, what's the twist though? Well, you only get one shot per temple. If you fail, it's gone forever. You then have the ability of watching the ghostly replays of other real players, which certainly adds a unique layer of strategy, letting you learn from their falls or compete with bragging rights. The movement, as you can probably see on screen now, is incredibly smooth, and using the whip to grapple across pits or just disarm traps adds a satisfying momentum to every single run. The pressure really does ramp up though as you go deeper within this game, with treasures becoming more riskier to claim but even more tempting. It's a bold original concept, and to be honest, for the low price point, it's one of the most gripping indie challenges that you'll find on the Xbox store. Set in a futuristic surveillance-heavy London, Watch Dogs Legion really did ditch the traditional protagonist that this series was known for, and instead lets you build your own resistance out of literally anyone in a city. This can be from drone experts to ex-assassins to just middle-aged accountants with surprise combat skills. It is a brilliant mechanic that adds genuine variety to every mission depending on who you're playing as, with characters bringing their own strengths, weaknesses, and even accents. For me, I do miss a proper story surrounding one protagonist like we got with Aiden Pierce, and the story did actually suffer as a result in this, but in fairness, every other area in this world was bloody superb. The hacking mechanics return in full force, and the world is rich with tons of side missions, tech upgrades, and just chaotic opportunities to mess with enemy drones, cameras, and vehicles. For just under a tenner, you're getting an absolutely sprawling open world and a really clever gameplay twist that no other game has quite pulled off. Raku Venture is a colourful 3D platformer that calls back to the golden age of mascot-led adventures like Banjo-Kazooie and Spyro, filled with tons of collectibles, quirky characters, and puzzle-packed levels. In this one though, you play as Raku, the last guardian of a lost relic, on a journey to restore peace to his world after a mysterious force scatters its fragments. There's a real sense of heart in the design here. Environments are very playful and vibrant, but they're filled with tons of secrets and also little touches that make the exploration quite enjoyable. While it doesn't push the genre forward dramatically, it executes the retro platforming formula with charm and care, appealing to both nostalgic players and younger audiences. If you add in the boss fights, the power-ups, and a surprisingly catchy soundtrack, you've really got a great and little compact feel-good game that delivers smiles per minute. For this price point, it's a no-brainer if you've been craving something light-hearted and just full of personality. Hot Wheels Unleashed was one of my favourite racing games so far this generation, and it turns miniature toy cars into high-speed racing stars across tracks built from plastic, kitchen counters, skate parks, and so much more. The controls here are very tight and responsive, with a satisfying drift system and gravity-defying loops that keep the pace really exhilarating. It nails that sort of toy box come-to-life aesthetic, with incredible detail in both the car models and the tracks, and also that sense of speed is genuinely impressive for such a playful concept. There's also a meaty single-player mode here, alongside online multiplayer, and one of the best custom track editors in any racer that I've tried before. Whether you're battling AI or just want to race your friends online, it's got a surprising amount of depth under the hood here. At just over £5, you're getting arcade racing at its finest, and I recommend it wholeheartedly. Ruiner is a brutal, neon-drenched cyberpunk action game where lightning-fast reflexes meet a punishing synth soundtrack and a disturbing dystopian setting. This is one game that I was never familiar with until the sale started last week, and I've been really enjoying my time with this one since I picked it up. Essentially, you play as a helmeted anti-hero, slicing and blasting your way through a corrupt, tech-dominated society in search of your kidnapped brother. The game's combat is quite challenging as it does blend twin-stick shooting with melee and tactical dodging, and so far it's pretty polished across the board. What I do like about it so far though is that this game really does just ooze style, with a sharp art direction and a world that feels gritty and oppressive in the right ways. At just £1.67, it's honestly staggering in how much quality you're getting right out the gates. Bizarre, stylish, and hilariously self-aware, Litchspeer throws you into a psychedelic future full of laser Vikings, hipster ice giants, and sky-harping walruses. The core gameplay here though is pretty simple. You'll be hurling spears of light at waves of bizarre enemies, but it's the absurdity, challenge, and aesthetic that make it just so memorable. Timing is also everything here, as it constantly tests your precision and rhythm as you fend off increasingly ridiculous waves of foes. The Double Spear edition that I'm including today adds co-op, which then turns this into chaotic fun with a friend. It's wildly weird in the best way possible, and for less than £1, it's a no-brainer, especially if you want something fast, funny, and strangely hypnotic. Have you ever wanted to be a shark? Well, Maneater takes that fantasy and cranks it up to absurd levels, letting you play as a bull shark on a bloody path of revenge through a vibrant open world bayou. In this one though, you do grow stronger by eating everything from fish to beachgoers, eventually evolving into a nightmarish apex predator with armoured fins and electric teeth. The Apex edition, which I've highlighted today, actually packs in the Truth Quest DLC, adding more depth, mutations, and some pretty dark humour. The game is just so delightfully tongue-in-cheek, complete with a hilarious narrator poking fun at wildlife documentaries. If you want something mindless, fun, and sort of weirdly empowering, this 2-feet RPG is an absolute blast, and I bloody love it. Let me be real, I absolutely love Space Marine 2, and I played Warhammer 40,000 as a kid, painting the Imperial Guard and then staging epic battles within my local games workshop at the time, I would say probably back in the early 2000s. So this game really does hit home in the best way possible. This sequel though does ramp up everything I loved from the original, with intense third-person melee and range combat, brutal finishing moves, and a genuinely faithful recreation of this grimdark universe. Of course, Captain Titus is back and meaner than ever, hacking through Tyranid swarms with his chainsword while bolters thunder in the background. Visually, this one is utterly jaw-dropping, and the action hasn't lost an ounce of that heavy power-armoured weight. This is only the third or fourth time that it's actually been discounted since its launch, but is now the lowest price that we've ever seen, and at £32.99 is easily worth every single penny, especially if you're a fellow fan of the Emperor's finest. GTA 5 is a game that, despite being over a decade old at this point, continues to sell in ridiculous numbers on a monthly basis, and this new just for you Xbox deal may lead to another spike in sales in late June and July. Over the weekend, I did notice that the Xbox Series X and S version of GTA 5 is currently showing up with a whopping 87% discount on the Microsoft Store, resulting in a price of just £5.20 here in the UK. The catch is though that you seemingly need to own the Xbox One version of GTA 5, as the Just For You offer is telling us that we're eligible for an upgrade since we own the standard edition. As with all of the Just For You deals on Xbox, they're specifically targeted at certain users, and there's a chance that you won't even see this deal if you don't own the Xbox One version of GTA 5. In any case, I just wanted to highlight this offer, and please let me know your findings in the comments below. So what game are you going to pick up in this week's sale? I would be keen to hear what games you would like to see on sale so I can bring you an update as soon as possible. Like this video if you did enjoy, and if we hit over 800 likes, I will be giving away a copy of Space Marine 2 in the next video. Whilst here though, subscribe and check out my most recent video covering the 15 brand new Xbox Game Pass games coming to us this July.